Hey guys, I hope you all are doing well. So welcome to this strategic business reporting orientation session. This is Luqman Rafiq here. I'm the trainer for the course. So let me just explain to you the agenda for the session of today. What we are going to be discussing in today's session is our main objective and our main focus is going to be to discuss about the strategic business reporting course. And in addition to this, what we would also be doing is we would also be discussing that how this strategic business reporting course is actually being examined, and at the same time, what is the approach that we would be adapting in order to cover up this strategic business reporting course. So let's just start off. You could type in whatever the queries that you have in the chat window. I would be there to answer them. This orientation session is going to last approximately 40 minutes, and I would actually be taking you people through the different aspects of the syllabus, would be explaining to you the areas that are important, the areas that could be examined and things like that. So now let's just start off the strategic business reporting. The strategic business reporting. The first important thing is that when we talk about the strategic business reporting, with respect to the strategic business reporting, you need to understand this thing, that this is one of those papers that actually has got uh, a connection with the financial reporting examination, which you have already studied. So the financial reporting examination, which you have already studied, this examination has a connection with financial reporting. So you have studied the financial accounting. Some of you have got exemptions from it, and then you have studied financial reporting. Again, some of you would have got the exemptions from it, but then there is actually this SBR. Now, let me just guide you a major difference between the strategic business reporting and with respect to the financial reporting is that this financial reporting paper and the financial accounting paper, they are majorly computational examinations. I repeat, they are majorly computational examinations. I repeat. So what are they? They are majorly computational examinations. But when it comes to SBR, it is actually a mixture of computation plus discussion. So what is it actually going to be? It is going to be a mixture of computation plus the discussions, right? It is actually going to be a mixture of computations plus discussions. That's what it is actually going to be. Now, I'll discuss further, but before I move forward, I think that I should give a brief introduction about myself so that you know that who am I. So myself, Luqman Rafiq, I've been in teaching profession for more than 14 years now. I've been teaching different qualifications, including the ACCA, CIMA, ICAEW, the chart accountancy of the ICAP. So I have actually been I have been teaching these different qualifications. With respect to the ACCA SBR, I have got very detailed experience of even handling the diploma in IFRS, plus the financial reporting, plus the strategic business reporting, plus the corporate reporting of the ICAEW, plus the corporate reporting of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. So that's something that I've actually been doing. So inshallah, when we are gonna be going about discussing all this, you would actually be realizing that we would inshallah be having an amazing experience all throughout the course. We would be having an amazing experience throughout the course. That is something I can guarantee. Anyways, so let's move a bit forward and let's discuss a bit further. So you could see in front of you that basically this is what the syllabus structure is. I bet you could see in front of you, this is what the syllabus areas are for the SBR. And you could see that there are different syllabus areas, but what I'll do is that I would first of all talk about this syllabus area, which is employability and the technology skills. So we'll be discussing all of them, but right now, basically, if you are going to be doing the SBR paper, you should know all these areas. And amongst all these areas, the employability and the technology skills. What exactly is this area all about? When we talk about this employability and technology skills, this area actually is, as you know, that all the ACCA examinations are now computer-based examinations. So when these examinations are computer-based examinations, so as a student, you should be able to handle the ACCA CB practice platform. I repeat, as a student, you should be able to handle the ACCA CB practice platform. So when you are able to handle the ACCA CB practice platform, so this skill of handling the CB practice platform actually is going to help you attain the employability and the technology skills. What? This is actually going to help you attain the employability and the technology skills. Now, I talk about the other areas. So there is this fundamental, ethical, and the professional principles. As you know that ethics is a significant portion of any examination. So even with the SBR course, the ethics are important. You are being given different scenarios. You are being given different type of questions. The different scenarios, the different type of questions, uh, which actually do focus on the ethics. These questions actually are based on what? These questions, when we talk about the ethics, they are actually, you could be given a different type of scenario where the CFO is insisting something or the finance director is insisting something, and then you are actually being faced with the ethical dilemma uh, of whether you should listen to these CFOs, finance director, or you should do what is the appropriate accounting. So you would be expected to do questions like this, where these fundamental ethical and the professional principles are actually going to be tested, and you would actually be given such scenarios where you would have to handle these. You would have to explain that what is going to be your approach in handling them, what is going to be your strategy in handling them. So that is something that you would have to discuss. Then if I move a bit forward and if I discuss further, so the other areas of the syllabus, I repeat, the other areas of the syllabus include what? The other areas of the syllabus, they include the impact of changes and potential changes in the accounting regulation. Now, what exactly is this all about? So when I talk about the impact of changes and the potential changes in accounting regulation, so this actually is referred to what? This actually is referred to that when we talk about the impact of changes and potential changes in accounting regulations, so this is an area which is called current issues. Under the current issues, uh, we focus on the recently issued accounting standard. We focus on the proposed accounting standards. So that is what we do. We focus on the recently issued accounting standard. We focus on the proposed accounting standards. That's what we focus on. We discussed that what is going to be the impact of the changes in the accounting regulation on financial reporting. So we do talk about these type of things. So that is also going to be another area of discussion. Then if I move forward, so you could see that there is this another area, which is the financial reporting framework. So you might have actually studied the concept of conceptual framework of accounting. What is this conceptual framework of accounting? Conceptual framework of accounting is basically, conceptually speaking, there is a framework that has been given by the IASB, which actually guides you that how the accounting standards should be done. That actually guides you that how the accounting standards should be set. So that is what the conceptual framework on the financial reporting is all about. And then there are these three areas, which is about group, which is you could say that covers all the accounting standards. And then what happens is that it is basically ratios, or rather I could say performance indicators, that actually covers up ratios, or rather I could say performance indicators, right? So that is also another area of the syllabus. So basically, if I talk about if I talk about the overall situation, if I talk about the overall scenario, so you could understand that the syllabus is diverse, focusing on ethics, focusing on development, focusing on the financial reporting framework, and in addition to this, the group accounts and the accounting standards, and lastly, the performance indicators and the interpretation of financial and the non-financial performance is also being examined, right? So this is what the syllabus is all about. Now, I'll move a bit forward and I'll discuss further. Um, I'm gonna come back to this slide a bit later. But before this, I would actually go on to discuss the syllabus areas. I would go on to discuss the syllabus areas. Now, when I talk about these syllabus areas, so first one of them is, as I told you, the fundamental, ethical, and the professional principles. So what are we going to be talking about this? We are going to be talking about the code of ethics and the application in different circumstances. The code of ethics and its application in the different circumstances. That's what we are actually going to be uh, talking about. I bet that's what we are going to be actually talking about. Now, secondly, financial reporting framework. So as I told you that IASB has issued conceptual framework. And when we talk about the IASB's conceptual framework, the whole objective of the IASB's conceptual framework is that it actually gives you a guideline. It actually gives you an overview about how an accounting standard should be set. So what does it give you? It actually gives you a guideline that how an accounting standard should be set, right? It gives you a guideline as to how an accounting standard should be set. So basically, when we talk about the ISB conceptual framework, this ISB conceptual framework is going to be something that is what we are going to do, and we are going to be tested about asking the strengths and weaknesses of the framework, and at times the accounting as per the framework under the different situations. The accounting also as per the framework in the different situations, in the different circumstances, that is also something that we would be asked about. Now, then we talk about another area which is actually about the accounting standards. So there is a huge list of the accounting standards. And what exactly is the huge list of accounting standards? There are a lot of accounting standards which we have already studied. I bet there are a lot of accounting standards which we have already studied at the financial reporting level. But again, they're examined in more depth, in more detail at the SBR, at a different level at the SBR level. So we'll be talking about the revenue recognitions under the IFRS 15, the different accounting standard for non-current asset like IS 16, IS 40, IS 38, IFRS 5, IS 36, the impairment, etc., etc. So the different accounting standards for the non-current assets, which we have already studied at the FR level, would also be playing a key. Then we'll talk about the financial instruments. With respect to the financial instruments, what would we be doing? We would be talking about the IFRS 9. We would be talking about financial assets, financial liabilities. We would be talking about how the equities should be accounted for, etc., etc., etc. Then there is a leases, which is the IFRS 16 leases. And when we talk about the leases, so with respect to the leases, what happens is that the leases is going to be, you would be talking about how a lessor would be accounting for a lease transaction. You'd be talking about how a lessee would be accounting for a lease transaction. Then in addition to this, you would also be talking about the different type of arrangements like the sale and leaseback arrangements, like the transactions being entered by the manufacturers or the dealers through which they actually make the sales through the lease. So that is also going to be something that is going to be used. That is also going to be something that is going to be the area of focus. Then we have got the IS 19, which is the employee benefits. So IS 19 employee benefits would also be an area where we would be focusing upon that how the employee benefits should be accounted for, how the employee benefits are to be incorporated, how the different type of benefits like short-term benefits, like long-term benefits, etc., etc., like post-employment benefit. So how exactly the accounting should be done for all these. Uh, the students, they actually have a lot of fear with respect to deferred taxation. So that is also going to be an area of discussion, that how the deferred tax is to be accounted for under a given situation, how the current tax, how the deferred tax is to be accounted for in the given situations and the scenarios. That is also going to be an area of discussion. Then we talk about the provisions and the contingencies and the events after reporting period, which is actually going to be what, that how the provisions under the different situations need to be considered, how contingencies need to be considered, how uncertainties need to be considered, things like that. Then we have got the other accounting standards, which includes the share-based payments, the fair value measurements, and the other reporting issues. So share-based payments is basically IFRS 2. Under this accounting standard, we would actually be talking about that in case if a company makes the payments using its own shares as a consideration, or if it makes the payments based on its own shares, then how such type of transactions are going to be accounted for. Then the fair value measurement, how the fair value of the assets, how the fair value of the liabilities would be measured under different circumstances, and other miscellaneous accounting standards is also going to be covered. So technically, almost all the accounting standards that are there are actually examinable. Almost all the accounting standards that are there are actually examinable. Then we move a bit forward and we talk about the group accounts. So basically, you have up till now discussed about maximum one subsidiary. You have discussed about one associate. Now we would be talking about multiple subsidiaries. We could have two subsidiaries. We could have three subsidiaries. We would have group cash flows. We would have foreign investments or the foreign subsidiaries, etc., etc. So there would be different type of situations and circumstances that you would be facing. So the different type of financial statements that you would be facing. So group financials, foreign subsidiaries, foreign investments, etc. That is going to be an area of focus. That is going to be an area that we would be talking about. Then lastly, there is this interpretation of the financial and non-financial statements. So like what happens is that when you talk about the interpretation of this financial, non-financial information, how would things go about? The things are going to go about like this. Right? So we would be establishing the different type of ratios, the different type of financial performance indicators, non-financial performance indicators. Like I can give you an idea. There is a indicator which is called EBITDA, the earning before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. There is at times the customer satisfaction, which is a non-financial performance indicator, etc. So there would be different type of things that we are gonna be talking about. I bet there are actually gonna be different type of things that we are gonna be talking about. So we'll be discussing about this interpretation of the financial statement. Now, if we move a bit forward and if we discuss further, so basically, this is the overall syllabus area, and the examiner, the way he actually examines the syllabus area is that there is this section A that will consist of two questions. One question is going to be of 30 marks. One question is going to be of 20 marks. This 30 marks question would have approximately 20 marks from consolidation. This question usually has got 10 marks from the ethics. So you've got the topics of 30 marks probably confirmed, you know already what topics are going to be examined. So you know, you have an idea that what topics are going to be examined. Then if I move a bit forward and if I discuss further, so there is this section B, and under the section B, there are two questions of 25 marks each, which is actually going to make it 50 marks in total. So two questions of 25 marks each, two questions of 25 marks each, which is actually going to make it 50 marks in total. right? So question number 1, section A, 2 questions, section B, 2 questions. 50 marks, 50 marks, and it is actually going to be 30 and 20, and then here it is going to be 2 and 25 into 2. Now the questions over here majorly are going to be discursive plus computation to support discussions. There are going to be computations to support the discussions, right? What is actually going to happen is there are going to be computations to support the discussions. That is what is going to happen. There are actually going to be computations to support the discussion. Now what next is there? Basically, now important thing is that how exactly are we going to be delivering this course content? So if you are already enrolled at Escribir, good enough. If you aren't, you can get enrolled by contacting our team at this number +92 345 8287 222. So if you are already enrolled, good enough. If you aren't enrolled, you can get enrolled by contacting our team at this number. Now the course, it is going to be recorded lectures in total. Plus what will happen is that we could have weekly query sessions. Plus when you are actually going to be, there are going to be live revisions in the last month before the exam. Plus in addition to this, there are going to be assignments, or you could rather call them assessments, that are part and parcel of the course. We have got the dedicated facility where you submit your assessments, and what happens is that we actually get we review them and we respond them back. So like for each chapter, for each topic, the assessments are already uploaded. Now in addition to this, I make myself available. In addition to this, I make myself available for the query session, which is usually a one-to-one session, and that is generally 15-minute session for every student who want to reserve a session. So I've got a dedicated calendar of myself where I make myself available for one-to-one session where you could just book your session. You could get in touch with me. And what I would do is that I would actually be guiding you people through whatever the queries that you have got. I would actually be guiding you through whatever queries that you people have. So now, basically, the thing is that we are accepting enrollments for the September and for the December session. We are accepting the enrollments for the September and the December session. And what we actually are expecting from you people is that once you enroll for the course, so in addition to, I repeat, in addition to actually getting the access to the course, you would also be getting access to the IPD, would also be getting access to the assessments. You could submit your assessments and we would continuously keep on giving the feedbacks to you. So this is something that is actually going to happen. So basically that's it from my side for the time being with respect to what SBR is and how the SBR course is going to be delivered. So now in case if any one of you has got any queries or anything to ask, you're most welcome to ask. Please, your questions now. It's time for your questions now. Yes, there are notes. Izan, when you enroll with us, you get access to all the handouts. Plus, in addition to this, you also get access to the notes related to this course. So you don't have to worry about this. You get access to the notes. Okay, is there anyone else having any other questions or anything to ask? Okay, Moiz Hussain, the changes, they haven't been like significant. It's just that just look at these changes. If you would look at these changes, there is this reference to sustainability standards, means sustainability reporting is being added up, plus IS 1, some amendments that is there, some clarity to the accounting standards, and some current issues amendment. So apparently not a significant change, very insignificant changes that are actually being proposed. So I don't think that you need to worry a lot about the changes that are expected to happen in the syllabus. They are not going to be significant. They are mainly insignificant changes that are expected to be there. In fact, what have been proposed have been very insignificant amount of changes, right? Okay. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you for being here. It was nice to have you people here. We're gonna keep on having a discussion in the WhatsApp groups. We're gonna keep on discussing the things, and you keep on asking the question. Already okay. The lectures, the changes are gonna be uploaded. Whatever the current issues and whatever the developments are there. Plus, if you are already there, I mean, like if you've already studied with me, you could just tell our team to give you access to the latest course.